So the weekend is winding down and we're getting those box office numbers. This weekend was the big test for Avengers Endgame. Was it going to remain number one, or was Detective Pikachu going to take it down? And what many people didn't see coming was the fact that Endgame ended up winning by a substantial margin. So while not all the numbers are official, we know that Avengers Endgame is taking the number one spot. Now, of course, it's going to take till really Monday or Tuesday to get the official numbers from the studio, but analysts are saying that Avengers Endgame has won the battle. Now, while I don't want to get into the details, some are saying between 5 to 10 to even 15 million difference between the two films, between Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, and Avengers Endgame. Now, going into the weekend, there was a lot of questions to be asked about this. Was Avengers Endgame going to be able to hold on to that number one spot due to the fact that it's been doing so many, viewings and so much money that the people at some point would have to assume that everybody's seen the movie, right? But that's not the case. At the same time, there's a lot of other factors going into this, such as the fact that Detective Pikachu was at one point tracking for 90 to 120 million opening weekend. Ever since Endgame came out, those numbers fell 40 to 60 million. So the big question was, what exactly is happening? What just happened with the box office, and why is this? And honestly, I think this is that Marvel Cinematic Universe factor in juice, or maybe the jellies. Some of you might get that. I don't know what to call it, right? But here's the reality of it. After last year, where many people were looking at the box office numbers after Avengers Infinity War going, well, okay, it did this much, Solo suffered, Deadpool 2 suffered. Why would you put multiple movies up against an Avengers movie? And that was kind of a big question mark. Going into this weekend, it proved that studios should literally run away from Marvel Studios. Not just this, it also proved this with Captain Marvel, where Captain Marvel is still remaining in the top 10, where other films that have come out since then, like, for example, Hellboy, I know not a big one, but, just follow along, and Shazam have already fallen behind it because it's that Marvel Studios branding right now that's selling it huge, and of course it went up due to the involvement of Captain Marvel with Endgame. And looking at Endgame, it's clearly defying expectations. I mean, it defied expectations opening weekend and the second weekend. It should have been known it's going to do it the third one. And obviously going into this fourth weekend, yeah, it's gonna end up like second or third. But you have to realize Detective Pikachu, like they should have thought of this better. And I get it, Pokemon is a huge brand, I still love it, there's many people behind it, but nothing anymore compares to the Avengers and what that brand is. And this weekend really showed the power of it. And honestly, studios need to rethink this, because last year, if Star Wars couldn't touch the Avengers, what makes you think any other brand can? It's really boggling my mind, but that's where we're at now. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes out over the next couple weeks. But next up, the big challenge is Godzilla. And Godzilla fell down by about 50 million in anticipation for tracking on its box office, debut. So that's looking like it's going to be another disastrous opening, and you can largely thank Avengers Endgame for it.